in general, of parents that give, I know my generation and people a little bit older than I am, give our teenagers everything. We give them cars, we pay their, how many, you go to high school and see how many teenagers have brand new cars, brand new cell phones, sitting in there, they don't have to work for anything. So when you say that if our teenagers could be working those, they won't, because mom and dad give them a prepaid debit card or a credit card that they max out. So that creates the entitlement, because when they get to be adults, well, mom and dad gave me anything, so now Daddy Obama or whoever the president is has to give me whatever. My 9-year-old daughter raises chickens. She works, she sells eggs, and she works for that money. And if she wants something, that's the money she uses. It starts with us as parents.
Well, in school, I got kids still in school, and a lot of the assignments are on computers. You gotta go do research on the computer and stuff, So I mean, out where I live, it's like a black hole.
Exactly.
I just so we had to finally this last 2 months ago. We always had to go in town to my brother's place to do work on that. So we got Verizon's got that 3G thing out now for $50 a month. You have to back the computer and go into the satellite that way. So that's what.
And that's what it's coming to. They, the school systems, and rightfully so, expect the kids to have the internet access. We can't get internet access unless you go through Verizon. But when you're struggling to pay bills, when you're struggling to pay the electric bill and pay the car payment so you can get to work, what do you do?
Yeah, see, on our oil cost, what you hit on there. They're talking about England over there that, Obama, the finance advisor, said, well, they're paying $7, $8 a gallon over there. There's no reason why we can't pay $5. I said, well, in England, most of them drive bicycles.
Yeah.
And if you go to work, it's only a few blocks.
Right.
We have to commute sometimes 100 miles, to get where we're going, It's a whole different scenario what that is. But we're still sitting on, it's like in Alaska, we've been on the tundra. We got an ocean oil there. Clear back, I can't remember, maybe it's the first part of Clinton's administration. They got a horizontal line into that, our oil, Canada does. They're sucking our oil out, selling it back to us, putting it in the pipeline. That's been going on through the Bush administration, still going on. We got an ocean oil up in North Dakota, federal property up there. And, we don't want, in the tundra, of course, you don't want to disturb the caribou. That's what they keep telling you. But it shows the pipeline there through there, all the bears and everything that walks underneath the pipeline goes on, But I said, if we would go in after, now they're talking about getting that shale sand oil from Canada. It's going to cost a lot more money to develop that, but we're sitting here on these big ocean oils and not doing anything with them. I just don't make sense.
I've heard for quite a few years that, speaking of the pipeline, Japan comes over here, pulls up along Alaska, loads their ships, takes it back out past 11 mile limit, brings it around, comes in and sells it back to us over here. How much truth is there in that?
The gray market, it's called. It's just not oil, it's cigarettes. Like when Marlboro Winston, they finally, Congress, put the wall up finally on the cigarette market. But what they were doing, for export, they would take off and go out, like I said, into international waters, 10, 15 miles out, turn around, come back in, and use them import, and that way they raise taxes, And finally, I said they call it the gray market in there because finally they're starting to shut them doors out. It's been going on a lot of years, a lot of that stuff out. Import and exports like that. They said they go out, they don't come to different ports. A lot of them just go right out there and sit out there and turn around and come right back in.
Do you think that's actually going on with the oil?
I don't know actually. I said I've heard about it, but like you have, I didn't never, whether you actually can find out. But I know cigarettes. That's the reason why Congress finally. There's so many people that are screaming because they bring the gray market cigarettes back in and distribute them nationwide, and they had their own distributing ship in there. They wasn't paying state taxes on it because when you buy a pack of cigarettes, it's got the federal state stamps both on it. So everybody got paid. But then. In cigarettes at that point in time, I think it's like $3 or $4 a pack, and then you can get them for like $1.25. Same cigarettes. It didn't have stamps on them.
I have another question for you, sir. roughly what percent of our politicians today do you think are 62 years and under? 80?
Yeah, probably, but
That's what I'm guessing. I
Yeah.
haven't researched it.
I haven't either, but-
Roughly 80%. And you stop and think about this. 80% of our politicians are 62 years and under. We dropped a big bomb on Japan 65 years ago this week. They don't know, they don't remember hard times, they don't remember the Depression, they don't remember World War II. All they've known all of their life is since World War II, it's gotten better and better and better. Borrow and spend, borrow and spend. This is one problem I think we have with our politicians and this national debt limit, because all they know all their life is borrow and spend. How do we correct that?
300 pound gorilla there. But just like Evan Bott, you know, he was raised in Washington D.C. He was groomed from birth to that. They brought him back to Indiana. He didn't know where Circuitville was. The state police had to show him what it was. You know, they challenged his residency here because he had never been here earlier. And he didn't know, I said he didn't know where none of his farms was at or anything. And they let him go ahead and take the Secretary of State's job, you know, and then there was housing that. And he went in the governor's mansion. And then while he was running for the U.S. Senate, IU was paying him a couple $100,000 a year and giving him housing over there. So the guy never owned property, same with the Clintons, and I mean, all these big politicians, they don't own property, they never pay taxes. I mean, everything's just given to them. They have never worked a day in their life, you know. And you're right, man, it's hard to, you know, you mentioned the right to work states. I am not for that. If you look at the right to work states, I should have brought that map with them. But all the southern states that's involved in that, the wages are lower. You know, NAFTA, when they passed NAFTA, that was to destroy the middle class. And you can see that year after year, our middle class is going down. And the wages, of course, go with that. And with the right to work states down south, you see what's going on down there, that's a big portion of that. The NAFTA bill itself weighed 356 pounds. Just 3 piles of paper, waist high. And there's nobody, I don't care who it is, has ever read that thing. And one thing, you probably couldn't understand it if you went through part of it. I mean, and there's still things surfacing out of that bill that nobody had any idea was even in there. You know, it's staged, you know, for different years, things coming out and everything. I mean, it's just, but, you know, in order to, when Bill Clinton and Bob Dole stood on the White House steps, if you remember on national news, and they had a little booklet about that thick, it said it was a NAFTA bill, and it's going back to East Caucus, you know, and discuss it, vote on tomorrow. I guarantee you that nobody even read the first 10 pages of that bill. You know, it's like Nancy Pelosi said, you know, let's vote on, we'll see what's in it later on, you know. I mean, the same thing. And the Indiana legislature's done the same thing. Back when Bob Hellman was still alive, and he was the head of the Democrat from Terre Haute, we had budget bills that come down, and they voted on it, and we didn't even see the bill till 5 minutes after the vote happened. We didn't have no clue what was in that thing. And then come find out there was things that was placed in it, even after 2 different times since I've been there, after the bill has passed, going to the print, they had inserted stuff in the bill, which is, to me, is theft. But they got away with that. You know, I mean, there's some of them had to pay the monies back that got caught, you know, during that process. But it's just amazing, you know, the monies.
Concerning right to work, are you personally for the checkoff, or are you
Personally what now?
or right to work?
Okay.
Are you for the checkoff, or are you for the secret ballot? You know, when you're voting, you put a union in the shop.
Never even give that much of a thought, really.
Well, that's kind of central to right to
Right.
work.
But what my concern is, if you look at the right to work states, the wages drop. You
Yeah,
know,
but, I'm just wondering about if a union is trying to get into a company,
yeah.
are you for the checkoff, you know?
The
or
secret
are you-
ballot,
or
I'll
are you
probably
for
be supporting the secret ballot, yeah.
Huh?
Secret ballot,
You're for the secret
I
ballot?
would think. I would.
Okay, I can vote for you then.
Yeah, I never had, I said it went that way, yes, sir.
Well, I heard the comment, what can we do? I mean, we're hearing on the news media who they fear. These borders are open for one reason, so when there is a catastrophe, they can blame the Tea Party, if you ask me. They're already blaming us for everything. What can we do? I mean, we have to go out, we have to grow this group. Our politicians would really have fear in their hearts if this was 1,000 people meeting tonight instead of 70 or 80, whatever's here. We got to go out and we got to meet our neighbors. We got to spread the news, that we're not a terrorist. We've got an audience, right? We all live next door to somebody. We got to go out and we just got to give them information that we've heard tonight. We got to get them motivated to come and do something. But at least we can pass on the news that we're not terrorists. We can meet our neighbors. We can bring more people here, for the next meeting. And if we show up in numbers, I don't know what else we can do. I'm at wit's end what we can do. But numbers will change politicians' minds.
I'll tell you what's missing, common sense. If you're a Tea Party member and you're for the lower government and less taxes, I don't have to explain to somebody I'm a stinking terrorist. If they want to think that, maybe that's just me, but it's just common sense,
If you go through the list of what the Attorney General says, that makes you a terrorist, it's probably about 90% of the social district.
Janet Napolitano, on that stick, if you're a terrorist, you're a ex-veteran, you believe in the Bible, you believe in the Revelations, you belong to the NRA, you have a couple of weapons, and you belong to the Tea Party. That makes you a terrorist.
One more question.
In fact, I'm going to stay as long as you guys want to talk up there. Yeah.
Well, I feel like even if people, I think most majority of people don't know what to do. You hear, oh, isn't it awful, and you hear what they're gonna do now. The government, I don't understand how the government got so much power in the first place over the people. I really did
We
not
let
know
them.
that.
I said we're complacent, like that gentleman said, we let them.
Yeah,
And,
so if people need to unite, like you said, we're becoming so complacent, even if we gather, okay? So that's the first part of gathering and uniting. But then you even brought up the point, as senators or as Congress people, then you guys would get threatened. So how do you get beyond that? Even if we marched on Washington, would that change things? Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, how do you, what actions do?
I meet with a lot of pastoral associations, pastors get together. We've been trying to figure out a way to energize, I guess, the communities and stuff, And I mean, it's hard. We got some churches that go out and really work the communities hard, and still, you don't get any activity out of people, So I said that the way our nation's right now morally caving in, I think that's that's one thing. I think if the Tea Party, I think that's one element, because of the original Tea Party, these guys over here, I mean, they was all strong Christians, and that element's sort of left out of this movement. And I don't know how we can get, and I know that about 35% of the Christian people, they say, the churches didn't vote last time because they feel their voices are not being heard.
I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
People help us and all.
Right. And then, I don't know how you join forces, that's what I'm saying, it's got to be just like George Washington and Samuel Adams and all them. I mean, there's got to be a way, and they had their people, neighbors and stuff that didn't agree with them. They fought with them, disagree with them too, but you just got to keep moving forward and try to get as many people as you can. Right, the main thing, what you do have here is letters to the editors. And if you guys would just, all of you, pick out different subjects, you know, like I said, every time you have a meeting. That's one thing that, back in the 80s, we found out was real effective. I mean, real effective. And pick out certain things, just like this bill, you know, raising the debt. They had, you know, like the Obamacare, some of the funding's built into that. We gotta find somebody to digest that bill, find out what, I mean, there's a lot of things in that bill we don't know about. We gotta find some way to digest that bill. And I said, you got the same avenues I got, because I can't get answers either. I mean, you know, I gotta go through different agencies and everything to try to find things out too. And get that, and then start writing letters to the editor. You know, if you get 10 to 15 people, then you get people start writing back, or counteracting sometimes, you know, which starts a discussion. But that's good though, so that way you get the explained part and what's in the bill, page number, you know, that type of thing. So I mean, that way you can, you know, be intelligent in your conversation and bring more people in.